Tuesday.
She'll be 4. And Scarlett?
She's 3. She was 3 in September, so God goes fast. In a few months, 3 in a few months.
The time is 4:30 p.m. The Pelican Rapids City Council meeting of 11 February 2025 is called to order. I'd ask those in our council chambers, if you have not signed the clipboard by the back door, if you would please do so before you leave this afternoon. Also, everyone, please put their phones on vibrate. Roll call of members. Danielle?
Councilmember Steve Strand.
Here.
Councilmember Shelley Gumringer.
Here.
Councilmember Kurt Markgraf is absent tonight. Councilmember Don Perrin is absent tonight, and Mayor Brent Frazier.
Here. Want to welcome each and every one of you in our council chambers this evening. Those joining us by Zoom, remember our city council meetings are on the Pelican Rapids YouTube channel and also on channel 14 on Wednesday evenings. Just a few announcements for the next couple weeks. Remember, this Friday, February 14th, is Valentine's Day. That's just a reminder. Monday, February 17th is President's Day. City Hall offices are closed. Our next city council meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February 25th, 4:30 p.m. here at City Council Chambers. Any other announcements? Any other announcements? Hearing none, if we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item number 3, citizens' comments. Anyone here for citizens' comments if you are not on the agenda? Anyone here? Yes.
Hi, my name is Justin Fury, and since I'm here and you were talking about announcements, I just want to announce the Food Shelf annual meeting is this Thursday. And we're having an open house because we upgraded to a super center food shelf. And so I just want to personally invite all of you guys to come to that, to the open house, which is 10 to 12 o'clock, or actually technically 10 o'clock to 11:30. And then at 12 o'clock is the annual meeting. But it's really great to hear about the food shelf, all the effectiveness, all the people that we serve, and all the statistics that you never really hear about. But it's really interesting, so I just wanted to give that announcement.
Well,
And personally invite you guys.
Thank you. Anyone else for citizens' comments? Anyone else? Seeing none, item number 3, additions, deletions to the agenda. I have a couple here. I have addition, item number 4D is gambling permit for Pelican Rapids Ducks Unlimited. Item 4D is gambling permit Pelican Rapids Ducks Unlimited. And then delete item number 7, Streets and Parks Report. Delete item 7. Any other additions or deletions?
I move to approve the agenda with the addition of 4D and deleting street report.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second, discussion, discussion, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Item number 4, approval of consent agenda, which I'll read. Item number 4, approval of council minutes from January 28th, 2025. 4B is approval of accounts payable listing. Item 4C1 is the police report, which was in your packet, and also 4C2, which is the library report, which is in your packet, and 4D, gambling permit for Pelican Rapids Ducks Unlimited /VFW at 26 Northwest 1st Avenue. That is on March 28th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion second, discussion, discussion, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Item number 5, Otter Tail Power letter of intent for distributed solar energy site. We have Nate Caldy here from operations manager for Otter Tail Power Company, and there was a new handout on your desk as you arrived. It was an amendment, and Nate, do you want to take it away?
Absolutely. Thank you for your time this afternoon. Pleasure to be up here again speaking with you. What I'm here today to present would be a potential for the city to partner with Otter Tail Power Company on a distributed solar energy site. So part of the carbon-free legislation that was passed by the Minnesota State Legislature mandates investor-owned utilities have 4% of their Minnesota retail energy generation come from solar. Of that 4%, 1% of that has to come from distributed solar energy sites, meaning basically small-scale solar that will be consumed at the distribution level. So essentially, Pelican Rapids would consume directly what the output of the solar farm is. These sites can't exceed 10 megawatts, and right now we're in the process of what we call a request for proposal process. This is also mandated by the state. We have to act as a developer bidding on our own projects. So our sites and our proposals are due in April. The selection process takes place in May, and within that we're competing against other solar developers to ensure that we're selecting the least cost option for our ratepayers. So just want to clarify that these are projects that Otter Tail Power will have to do, whether we do them as self-build projects or we enter into some sort of agreement with the developer. They will happen. It just is kind of depending on where, because we're legally obligated to by the legislation that was passed. So Otter Tail's effort is to do these as least levelized cost of energy effectively as possible. It's basically saying, how cheap can we do it, right? Couple things come into play there. One is the land utilization, either purchase or the lease amount. The second of it is what sort of upgrades are needed on the distribution side of the network. And two, if we compare the right sized solar field with the communities or the load base, we don't have to file for an interconnection agreement on the transmission side of things, which gets into a very messy, costly thing for the utility company. So we've identified a location here working with city staff in Pelican Rapids that we believe is going to be a good fit. It's actually out near the sewage lagoons, and I believe it's the road that goes up to the dump. What we selected here is roughly about 20 acres. In our letter of intent, which I'm hoping to get signed tonight, we've established a lease of 35 years at $300 per acre. This is a 5 megawatt site generation-wise, and why that's important is the city, being that this would be within the city limits, is eligible for a production tax from this solar array. So how the state legislature have structured that is 80% goes to a county, 20% goes to either a municipality or a township, depending on where it's located. So Otter Tail's tried to locate these within municipal bounds because we want our communities to be able to benefit from that production tax. These also have to be located within our service territory as well. So with that, the letter of intent that you have before you, I believe, was actually reviewed by city staff as well as your city attorney. They came back with some suggestions. We had our legal staff review those, and we basically accepted your proposed changes on that. One thing I will just stress is that the letter of intent is non-binding, right? So you'll see that the option is actually laid out ending in 2030. We're going to pay you $1,000 if you sign the letter and basically give us a window to execute on that lease agreement if the project is selected during May, right? So tonight I'm saying, yes, we have a site, we have a proposal. The city has said, yes, we'll work with you, we'll negotiate with you if this site is selected in May. That's what the letter is establishing. With that, again, it's a non-binding letter. So in that 5-year period, we've kind of laid that out there for a development period. We likely won't construct this until probably into 28, maybe 29. Why drawn out? We actually have to have these in service by 2030, but we have some larger scale utility or some solar projects that we're doing that we're leveraging the same contractor to do the installations on, and we're focusing on, right now it's actually Solway up in Bemidji is underway right now. After that, maybe you've seen the announcement, we'll be over by, well, basically just straight west of Wapaton area, doing another one in Abercrombie area. But once those kind of solar scale projects get finished up, we'll be able to move to these smaller ones with that same contractor or developer. So in the interim, I mean, I know that it's being rented as tillable farmland right now. If the project does get selected in May, we can discuss a tighter window for a construction timeline, and that still gives you the opportunity to lease out that land, just knowing on the lease that there is an option on there as well. So I guess I'll open it up to questions or comments or, I guess probably the most important thing I left out here is like, what's the potential revenue stream for the city, right? Probably talk about that. So initially we're at $300 an acre as just cash rent. After year 2, we propose a 2% escalator each year. And then that production tax roughly equivalates to about $1,800 per year that's generated from the city. So, I mean, year 1, you're potentially looking at, anywhere from $7,500 to $8,000 potentially. Add a 2% escalator on for that 35 years. You're looking at about $400,000 and $450,000 in cash from us. We would recommend that, most cities are saying, well, it's kind of revenue that we didn't have planned. If you continue to just invest that in the market, 8% returns, bonds, you're potentially looking at, $750,000 to $1 million at the end of a 35-year period if you continue to invest that money. So pretty good opportunity as a guarantee from us if the site was selected, right? We're not going anywhere, we're not doing anything, and even after the 35-year period ends, the lease ends, you still maintain ownership of the land. For development or whatever purposes there may be. We would like to see that have an option to extend the lease for 2 10-year periods. Some of that is just we never know what technologies are going to get developed in that 35-year period. Whether hydrogen comes on board or small scale nuclear or anything like that. So I mean, we'd have to see after 35 years kind of where we stand. So.
Nate, in our discussions before, did you say Pelican Rapids was your #1 choice?
As of right now, this is our top choice for scale of economy.
Okay.
Yep. The load here is consistent. We don't see large fluctuations. You're very blessed in town to have West Central Turkeys run as a 24-hour operation, and they have a very good load base to get this solar farm online and actually use its production. So the distribution upgrades that would be required from us are very minimal. Makes this probably one of the most cost-effective sites for us to actually build this outright, and probably has a very good success rate of being selected in that RFP project just because of the scale of economy that we can do here and the cost that's associated with that. And keep in mind, I mentioned that, right, we're obligated to do these. So the least cost is better for anybody who's an Otter Tail customer, because the more costly the generation is, it's just coming to reflect right back in your rates. So.
Thank you. Council, questions? Yes.
I have quite a few. So what's the map of the area you're looking at?
The entire service territory of Minnesota that we operate in.
So like, give me an idea, like, is that half of the state or?
Yeah, so we run basically from just north of like Marshall, Minnesota, and we run kind of on the edge of Wilmer all the way up to the Canadian border. Kind of have, we call it the western third of the state is basically what we have. Our largest communities would be in Minnesota, Fergus Falls, Bemidji, Crookston, Morris areas. Yep.
And you picked Pelican Rapids, that's really interesting.
Okay.
You know, I'm the guy that can't stand the looks of these things when we were talking to you at the planning commission.
Yep.
I just think, we have such beautiful landscape here, and when I come from the cities or go down, you see all this plastic in the field, it just makes me sick.
And we've been cognizant of trying to choose sites that are maybe in less than desirable areas for future development. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we picked Pelican Rapids is one for the load growth opportunity, or the load, consistent load here, but as well as acreage adjacent to sewage lagoons, as well as basically hardly any residences that are going to be negatively impacted by the aesthetics of it.
Well, they're making fun of me because I said I love driving to the dump, and it won't be as beautiful if we do this.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, there's definitely mixed opinions of, the carbon-free legislation that was passed, and, I'm not here to argue that. I'm just here to tell you that we have to abide by the law, right? And we're trying to do it as cheap and economically as we can, but being mindful of the aesthetics piece of it, as well as providing hopefully a revenue opportunity for the communities when we do business in. At the end of the day, that is one of our core values as a company is community. We want to help all the communities that we operate in prosper and grow. So hopefully you can see this more as an economic tool and maybe hopefully a step up in utilization of some property that would go underdeveloped.
There was another site that was looked at, but it was near residential, which wouldn't be good.
Around here?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, in the northwest part of town. So up the site, what we're looking at now, that's sort of in the utilities division. We have the transfer station, the dump, we have the sewage lagoon, and we have, solar panels. So it sort of fits in that setting up there.
So we're looking at, there'll be multiple of these DSES sites that we'll be doing, right? So the trouble is trying to find essentially 20 acres in a city limit in our service territory that isn't being developed either as industrial park or impacting residents. So this kind of fit perfect for what we think is the least cost option to be able to do these. And it doesn't matter where they get built, right? If you're an Otter Tail customer in Minnesota,
Yeah.
whether it's built in Crookston, or whether it's built in Pelican Rapids, or whether it's built in Dent, you're gonna pay for it. You're just not gonna get the economic benefit of it being in your community.
Any other questions?
Can you see it from, what's the road on the left? Is that,
That's the road to the.
Dump
that's the dump
station.
road? So does it show from 108? Could you see it?
No, not from 108, no.
Yeah, I don't think so. Potentially would be a little bit, but I don't, as far as a full scale, it'd be very tough to see unless you were looking
Drive
for
on
it.
the dump road?
Yeah, yeah.
You don't do that.
No.
Let's say the council signs the letter or agrees to the letter of intent now, come May, the project gets selected.
Yep.
That is the time you'd start negotiating with us then, and at that point, if we didn't like what we saw, or if the council doesn't like it, they could decide not to pursue,
This
correct?
is a non-binding letter, right? We're basically saying,
But that
Give
is
us-
the time, that in May, it's not, you said construction wouldn't start till 27, 28. Come construction time, it's not the time to say, no, we don't want it. Right, it would be in May.
we would,
This year.
if the project was selected in May, we would take the next step of executing a lease with you. When that start date would still be determined or negotiated with you, yeah. But that would be our target timeframe would be 28, 29.
Yep.
Any other questions?
So I'm concerned about 2 members missing. 2 council members?
Mm-hmm.
No? Doesn't matter?
No, we're going with what we got here. This is non-binding at this point.
Yeah.
It's just to move forward. I did talk to Councilman Perrin, and he saw no problem in it. I didn't talk to Mark Raff, of course, because of that'd be violation of open meeting laws, so I didn't go there. So I'm looking for a motion to accept and sign the letter of intent for the solar energy site.
I would make a motion to sign.
Second? I'll second it. Motion and second, discussion? 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 All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same? Motion carried.
All right.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you very
Anything
much.
else?
I don't think so, as long as you just sign the letter, and you can either email it back to me or however you want to do that, Lance. You will note in there that there is an options payment, and we'll get that processed upon receipt of the letter of intent. And we just appreciate the good partnership that we have with Pelican Rapids. I know we've done a lot of projects and a lot of work here in the last few years, and we'll be doing more here this year, and just look forward to continuing our partnership. So
Thank you for the good
very much.
streetlights.
Thanks, Nate.
Okay, item number 6, Pelican Rapids Fire Department Elections and Fire Call Report. We have Chief Shad Hansen with us this evening, and he did leave a 2024 fire call report at our desk this evening. Shad?
Hi, yeah, elections have stayed the same. I am still acting chief. Jesse Hoodley is assistant chief, and Wyatt Hybe is secretary. Fire call report, 84 calls total in the year. 52 were rural, 24 in the city, and 8 mutual aid. Nothing crazy. I mean, I would say it's an average year. If you have any questions on it or not, I
Questions
know
from
you
the
didn't get to
council?
look at it ahead of time, but
So we're looking for a motion to approve the elections and the 2024 fire call report.
I move to approve the report and the election results.
Second.
Motion second, discussion? 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 Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All the same? Motion carried. Thank you, Chief.
Thanks for what you do. Wow.
Item number 8 is Friendship Festival. We have artist Paul Johnson with us this evening, famous artist who is known for his Concordia College Christmas concert backdrops and also the Pelican Rapids logo here. And Paul's going to talk regarding the Friendship Festival.
Yeah, thank you so much. Before I begin, thank you for the support you've given to the art projects in the community over the years. That's helped a lot. And with that, I'd like to build on that. This last summer, I was at the Friendship Festival. Joni Ellison asked me to start this this big sculpture that I've been working on. You maybe saw something in the press this past week if you've taken a moment to look at that. And it kind of started, well, it started before then, but she said, you should really start right there. And I went, good idea. So I actually started my first sculpture while that was going on. So I got a chance to visit with some people, and I got a chance to see what's going on. And I was amazed in a couple ways. First of all, the food, the atmosphere, it was awesome. I was also amazed that it wasn't as busy as I thought it, or what it once had been. And I'm really excited about this project, and I'm excited to see this little mural behind Mayor Fraser, Diverse Delight. I love that. I just wanted to mention to you, I guess, in my opinion, I've taught branding for 23 years at the Community College in Alexandria, and I just wanted to share that the community does a great job with all of its different events, from turkey barbecues to the different events in the park, art in the park, and cars and whatnot. There's a variety of things always going on. That's great. But the one thing I wanted to say is those events are a dime a dozen compared to other communities. Every other community is doing the same thing. And the thing that we are different and what we do better is our diversity in this community. And we need to blow the socks off everybody in neighboring communities. It's what we are. It's what this community is and what it's unique. And I guess I'm asking for any financial assistance so that we can do that, to promote more in other cities, to bring in more talent, to really make it as great as it once was. Because it is, I think, the most important event that Pelican Rapids can put on, because it supports that tagline or our mission statement, if that's what it's become. Small town warmth, diverse delight, and now with the bridge and all the attractiveness that we've brought to the park, we should be really doubling down on that. So that's what I volunteered to come and talk to you, to say thanks, but also to have you really consider about, and I know times are always tough, but this should be number one on our list of promotions in Pelican Rapids. It really should be. And if it isn't, we got to discuss why it isn't, because it's in your tagline. And so that's all I have to say. Any questions? Anything that could be done would be, we'd surely welcome it, for more musical, more food, more promotion, to really bring in people from other communities to see what's unique about this great town. Do you want me to stand here, or? And so anyway, and I don't expect you to say, yeah, we've got $500 here, you go ahead and take it, but I've never gone to a city council meeting, and I thought, it's a good opportunity for me to thank you for the support you've given to art projects on the old Johnston's furniture and et cetera, but also to build on that. I think this is really key, and yeah, you've heard what I need to just say.
Yeah, well, thank you for all your work in the community. It's highly appreciated.
Well, I hope to do more now that I'm retired, so to speak. So
We'll truly bring this into consideration as we move forward.
please do.
So
Thank
thanks
you.
for the information.
Thank you very much. Okay.
You sit there, you got to stay the whole
You
evening,
stay.
remember?
Well, you guys are cruising. You're cruising. I don't want to interrupt.
No, go ahead. Item number 9 is local match and CDA Public Infrastructure Resolution number 2025-03. We have our Economic Development Director, Jordan Grossman, and she's going to talk to this, and that resolution was on your desk this evening as you arrived. Jordan?
Good evening. In the name of housing, this is kind of exciting. We've wished for it and talked about it, and hopefully we'll keep talking about it moving forward. This is a long explanation of stacking outside funding, but the first place I'd like to start is the Community Growth Partnership Grant through Otter Tail County CDA. This is a grant that has been used to fund some blight removal downtown that added additional parking for a local business. Anything else that it's been used for that you can think of in the last few years? It was also used to generate and create our commercial rehab program for businesses downtown. We have a $50,000 pool of funds for businesses to apply to. And then every year you're allowed to reapply. So you can apply for up to $100,000 of CDA funds for public infrastructure related to housing development. We have been planning this project for quite some time. Don't have any firm timelines on said housing development, but have done a lot of background work on it. So I would like for the city to apply for $100,000 from the CDA. I have an application ready to go to be reviewed from the CDA next month and need the city council to adopt this resolution. With that, There is a one-to-one match component for the $100,000. So if we're seeking 100, we have to come up with 100 locally. We have $40,000 of EDA funds available for housing development, and I've checked with Danielle, and I will say it, and then if you have questions, you can ask Danielle. There should be about $60,000 available in liquor store funds for our local 100. Do you have any questions?
Questions, council?
Do you want to see said housing project? The area on the map. Maybe you don't, that's okay. There's a lot to this, so this is the first component. For context, northwest side of town, the 75 acres, part of that is, the end of it is the dump road, the industrial side of it, the residential side of it. You have 3rd Street Northwest. There's 2 apartments right here. That helps familiarize you on this side of town. And there is a city right-of-way right here, which is an undeveloped road. So looking to develop this road, extend utilities from here out to here, and have some sites ready for twin home development. We've recently done a housing study this last year, and twin homes have been shown to do well in town, and something that would work well for residents looking to upgrade or downsize from their existing homes in town. And there's also potential for other multifamily housing, single family, slab on grade. Who knows what a developer wants to do, but the idea right now is twin home development.
Where's the solar garden on that picture?
Way out.
Way over there.
Like how far?
80 acres away.
I should have this ready.
Bonnie's land is between it, Hogarth's.
What is it?
Bonnie Hogarth's land is between it.
I counted it, it's 80 acres away.
Okay, I haven't heard that term before. But.
So this is where we're talking, right here on this 2 and 4. And
Here's the development and here's the solar.
there.
this
Yeah.
is solar.
Yeah.
And this would be, what we're talking would be like phase 1 of a larger housing development. You guys have looked at this before, but you've looked at it in a 1-phase type of thing. Looking at it in a probably 20-phase development realistically. So this would be phase 1, and as we move, we would move to the end of this unique addition and then probably start moving south. There are no plans to move north.
No.
Aren't the solar cells just to the left, or panels?
Right here.
Go up there.
Can we use that tool?
It came down further though.
Right in here on his picture.
Yeah, right by that lagoon.
This is the,
Yeah.
Lagoon there.
There's no
So-
downside to this, right? I mean, so I move to approve resolution 2025-03.
I hear a second.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Anything else, Jordan?
no,
Okay,
that's it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 10, City Hall/Verizon Site Agreement Amendment, and that was in our packet. Lance, I believe you were speaking to that.
Yep. So this agreement goes back to 2002 when Lake Region Electric still owned this building. They entered into an agreement with Verizon for a cell tower up on our tower here. So this would basically just extend that. So it's going to come to an end here November 11th of 2026. So they're reaching out this early just to be sure if something were not to continue, then they'd have time to set something else up and be able to keep their coverage. This is certainly no rush on approving this or anything. If you want the full council here, we can postpone it till next time. But it's basically just an extension of what the current contract is. It's a 4% increase every year that they pay us for rent. They're basically renting some equipment space inside here and then the area out on the tower and beneath the tower with the generator. We're basically getting right around that $1,000 a month from them for rent, and it just keeps going up 4% a year, so.
You say nothing has changed.
No, it's basically just extending this contract for another
Extension.
25 years. This was a 24-year agreement, and they're basically wanting to extend it for
Okay.
five more 5-year terms, so.
Hear a
So
motion
for
approved?
5 years or 25?
25 total, yeah.
5 years, Brent.
Yeah, wow, oh, my goodness.
Okay, I move to approve.
Second.
Motion second, discussion, discussion, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Item number 11 is Village EAP contract renewal. That was in your packet. Lance, do you want to explain that a little bit about the Village EAP?
Sure. So this is something we started last year. And it's just a service to the employees where they can, they have the opportunity to seek any kind of counseling or services from the village. So a household or an employee can use up to 4 sessions per household member. And that's basically for anything. I mean, mental health issues, drug issues, financial issues, all these kind of things to do with mental health. Available free of charge to the employee and their family members. The updated contract will be for a 3-year term. The first one was just for a year, $1,500 a year. So that's exactly the same as it was last year. The cost didn't go up at all. It's just a good service. We also use it for, we get 2 trainings a year. So we have supervisor trainings. We had some leadership training. 2 different ones last year. We already set one up for this spring for another one. We've used it for other personnel issue type things, so it's been a good service so far. We are going to kind of try and promote it a little more to get it more utilized a little better. So during our yearly employee right to know, we're going to have the village come in, a person come in and have like an orientation when all the employees are here so they can hear it straight from them on their services and how to use it and all that kind of stuff. So we'd like to extend this contract and
So
keep
it's
using it.
$1,500 per year for 3 years.
$1,500 each year. So we paid $1,500 for this service last year and we'll pay $1,500 moving forward.
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second, discussion, discussion, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Item number 12, administrator report.
Since the last meeting, I worked with the clerk and mayor, set the agenda, attended a department head meeting. Danielle and I met with HAGov representatives about setting up online reservations and payments for Sharon Park Campground. Mayor Fraser and I met with People Service and Jeremy Loughlin of the MPCA and worked on updating the significant industrial user agreement with West Central Turkeys and discussed the chloride variants along with PFAS. Worked with Verizon on updating the site agreement, submitted the pay equity report to the state, worked with Otter Tail Power on the letter of intent for their proposed solar project. Brian and I met with Apex Engineering about the facilities plan. Worked with Charlie Lindberg from the village on the updated EAP contract. Mayor Fraser Shad and I met with Dunn Township Chairman David Johnson about that proposed satellite fire station. Worked with Jordan on the draft of a storage ordinance. Worked on employee performance evaluations and attended a park board meeting. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Lance. Item number 13, mayor report. Just a few items in the last couple of weeks. Administrator Royston said he and People Service and I attended a meeting with MPCA regarding a West Central Turkeys SIU or Significant User Agreement. Also talked about PFAS and chloride in our wastewater. I gave the welcome at the Pelican Rapids Military Appreciation Education Day on February 4th. And as Administrator Royce had talked, we met with the Township Chair and also our Chief Shad Hansen regarding proposed fire hall in Dunn Township. Had a meeting here with Otter Tail County Emergency Management. They plan on hosting a annual meeting here in Pelican Rapids in October. We're just working on some specifics and logistics requiring that, and then met on February 10th to plan the meeting for this afternoon with Administrator Royce. Any questions?
Oh, thank you.
Seeing no other business or motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
You're talking like an engineer.
Paul.